You're listening to the Support Squad podcast, where virtual assistants come together to share their best business tools and tips. Virtual assistant for life coaches Sharon Nissen created the Support Squad with a firm belief in community over competition. Whether you're a new virtual assistant looking for advice on how to get started, or an established virtual assistant looking to expand your skills and invite even more abundance into your career, you're in the right place. Working from home doesn't have to be lonely. We're in this together. Now, here she is, the host of the Support Squad podcast, Sharon Nissen.
If you're a new virtual assistant, you might find yourself feeling pretty overwhelmed when it comes to marketing your business. Lots of virtual assistants start their businesses because they have amazing skills to offer the world, but they don't realize how much marketing and sales knowledge comes into play in order to build a thriving business. My guest on the podcast this week is Dani Stratmann, and I really wanted you guys to meet her because she has an incredible talent for breaking down pretty complex marketing concepts into digestible, actionable strategies. Let me tell you a little bit about Dani. Dani is a marketing coach and email marketing consultant for online coaches and service-based providers. She has been building email marketing and sales funnels for various companies for the last 5 years. Dani is passionate about helping online entrepreneurs simplify their marketing and sales strategy for maximum profit. When not working, you can find her watching Food Network, playing with her dog Bruce, or binging a show on Netflix. So without further ado, here's Dani. Hey, Dani, thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I have been following you on Instagram for forever, and I really love the way you take complicated stuff like sales funnels, email marketing, and really break it down into bite-sized chunks that people can really understand. I just appreciate that simplified approach, and I can really see all of the expertise and experience that is probably behind that that simplified, awesome way that you explain things. So I would love to hear from you what your journey has looked like, what led you to the online space, and what's your background like?
Yeah, so I think there's kind of like two parts of the story. So first is, my entrepreneurial journey, and my dad was an entrepreneur. So I grew up with him in the house, kind of like running his own show and living his life the way he wanted to. And, surprisingly, that didn't make me think like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur when I grow up. I thought I was going to like grow in a corporate career. And because at that time, I didn't really know what it was like to work in a corporate career, and I had good managers in my jobs in high school. So I was like, I love working for other people. Like, that's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So then I went to college, and after graduating college, I was in a few sales roles, and then I finally got my first job in marketing, which a lot of people, I think, struggle throughout their college career to know what they want to do. And it was not like that for me. I actually knew I wanted to be in marketing when I was in high school because I had a marketing teacher who was just like a badass, and I loved her to death, and I thought she was so cool. So I went to college knowing I wanted to do marketing, and that's what I got my degree in. So after graduating college, I had a couple of sales roles, and then I eventually got into my first marketing job where I really immersed myself in email marketing and sales funnels, and just like I was really responsible for helping the sales team get leads. So going from building that sales funnel, how somebody gets from, just consuming our free content to becoming a lead for the sales team and actually converting as a customer. So that's literally what I did, and literally what I still do. I still have my corporate job. I absolutely love what I do. But in the last corporate job that I had, I did realize like, this is not what I want to do long-term. Right now it's really great experience, and I'm able to immerse myself in that. But long-term, I know that I don't want to work for somebody else, and I do want to be able to build that life for myself where I get to control how my day goes, and I get to control the people that I surround myself with. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey and kind of how I got into marketing. And yeah.
Wow, that is so awesome. This is actually a conversation I've had with my husband lots of times.
that I am so fascinated by people that knew what they wanted to do, like from a young age, because that has just not been my experience at all. And I love meeting people like that like knew what they were supposed to do and then just took all the steps to do it. I find that so cool and fascinating and inspiring. It's just like something that I wish I had experienced.
Yeah, I think there's, benefits to both. So
Sure. Yeah, for sure. So, so you still work your corporate job. I'm so impressed that you have so much going on. I didn't realize that. How do you balance that, or how does that balance look for you?
Yeah. So, I think for me, I mean, I'm just kind of like a go type person. I like being busy, and I actually, part of the reason I started my business was because I was bored at night. Like I have hobbies. I like to work out. I like to cook. I like to do those things, but like that doesn't take up that much time. And I was sick of just like sitting on the couch watching TV for 4 hours. And I don't have any kids. I'm not married at this point. I mean, I do live with my significant other, but I don't have those like responsibilities that take up a ton of time. And so yeah, just always been a busybody. And so the way that I balance it, I mean, I have my corporate career, so I obviously do that 8 to 5. And then I come home, I usually will take a break. I have a dog, so I'll spend some time with him. And then I'll usually spend 1 to 2 hours on my business per night. And I think that surprises some people, like the amount of time I don't spend on my business and I'm able to grow it. And that's why, I love email marketing. I love sales funnels. I just like to simplify things. I don't want to build a business that makes me work 60 hours a week. Like that's not the point for me. And so that's how I balance it. I've built these back end funnels and I've focused on my marketing so much so that I don't have to spend so much time. But I do spend more time on the weekends. I'll, write more content and I'll have a lot of client calls on the weekends. Obviously, that's when I do have more time. So I'll spend a lot more time on the weekends doing that. But that's how I balance it. I make it work. I mean, people always say they're impressed with all the things I do, but I'm like, I just make it work. It just happens.
Yeah. Well, how you mentioned like simplifying things, that is something that comes through really strong in your own marketing. Like on Instagram, I can tell that you are really interested in results and taking just the simple steps to get there. So I think that's super inspiring and something that we should all need to hear. Like I just started reading this book by Kate Northrup called Do Less, just about how we should focus more and do less. And I think you really embody that. I'm just getting started in it, so I don't have too much to share about that book yet, but it's like, yeah, just the theme is really important. I think having focus and strategy can really make it so you don't have to be on your computer working at all times.
It's funny because my 2020 word is focus. So.
Oh, is it? Oh, nice. Yeah, that's perfect. Cool. So I would love to know, you've built such an amazing business with email marketing. Do you have any tips for virtual assistants? So most of my listeners are like new or aspiring VAs. Do you have any tips for a VA that's starting out that wants to offer email marketing as a service? Just some like basic stuff to kind of get them started.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, I would say make sure that you do your research on the different systems that are available. I think that there are some that can get overly complicated and you don't need that, especially if you're doing, if you're building really intricate sales funnels that have to do with advertising and all of these things, then yes, you need a more sophisticated system. But if you are just running basic email funnels that connect to landing pages, and if they take an action, they go down a different direction, you don't need something so complicated. So definitely do your research on the different systems out there. I just recommend Convertkit because it gives you enough to be able to build those funnels, but it's also a little bit more sophisticated than some other ones out there. So it just gives you enough to do what you need to do. My other tip would be to realize that email marketing is more than just sending random emails out at random times. There is some psychology behind it. And I like to relate it to social media. Like on social media, you wouldn't just post once every month and just show up randomly. That wouldn't build a community with your audience, and you wouldn't be able to position yourself as an expert or as a leader if you're just randomly popping out of nowhere. So think of email marketing the same way. So if you are a virtual assistant for an entrepreneur who wants to use email marketing, make sure you're consulting them on that, and that they're realizing that if they do want to get into email marketing, it's simple, but it is some work, and you do have to put some thought behind it. And the third thing is just to treat it like a social media post. I mean, you have your headline, which is your subject line. You have the meat, which is, where the body of your email is going to go. And you should always have call to actions in your emails, whether it's read this blog, go to my Facebook group, apply for this program. I mean, it doesn't really, it applies at every level, but just don't overcomplicate it, and just realize that it's similar to social media. It's just a different platform to reach people on.
Yeah, I love that analogy, comparing it to social media. I think that's a little easier to digest, because I think a lot of people that are new to the online space or new to virtual assisting, they see email marketing as this like kind of different animal than social media, but there are so many things that are so similar. So, and I'm glad that you mentioned Convertkit. I always recommend Convertkit to people that are just starting out in email marketing, because getting too deep into MailChimp, you find out pretty quickly it's limited. And so I'm glad that the expert agrees with me. Convertkit is a good option for like kind of a median option. Yeah. So for virtual assistants, why should they consider, someone like a service-based person, why should they consider building an email list? How can that help someone in the service-based space?
Yeah, so I think about this a lot, kind of like how the coaching versus like a service provider can use an email list. And I think that, the biggest thing that I have realized is that a service-based business, so like a virtual assistant, I think that the best way to use an email list is once you get a client onboarded, using that email list and using email funnels to upsell or cross-sell them to other services that you have. Of course, you can sell your just regular virtual services in an email sequence, but I do think that it's a little bit easier as a service-based business to have a more one-on-one conversation like on social media for that initial sale. That's just my opinion. But I think that email list can definitely be used for cross-selling and upselling. And then if you ever create like a passive product, so like an ebook, that's a really great place to sell on your email list. And then, any courses that you create, that those types of things are a great way to get somebody on your email list. And then, like I said, cross-selling and upselling to, basic virtual assistant packages, or, if they're just doing email marketing, also adding on social media and just using it to really nurture that relationship, I would say.
Yeah, I love that advice, because I do think that some virtual assistants, when they imagine starting an email list, they think that it's going to be to get them clients. But I love shifting that to where it's more kind of to scale and grow your business and deepen your relationships with your clients. That's a conversation we've been having a lot in the membership community lately, is like, when you're ready to start scaling and adding in these passive income and all of these things. So thank you for that perspective, because it can seem overwhelming and kind of scary to imagine just trying to sell your services via an email list. I agree that that's not the best way to use it. So thank you for that perspective. That's so great. So I would love to know one thing outside of your business that feels true to you, that makes you unique. Like, what makes you happy besides your business? I know you mentioned your dog and stuff like that. Do you have any other do you like to travel, or like any hobbies like that or anything?
Yeah, well, I mentioned briefly earlier, I'm very into health and just like cooking in general. I love the Food Network. You can find me watching Food Network pretty much any night of the week, except for right now because I'm deep into Grey's Anatomy. So that pretty much takes up all of my free time. free time. But yeah, I love cooking. I love trying new recipes. I think it's so fun. And my boyfriend and I love to travel together and to travel to new places. So yeah, those are kind of the things that I do when I have downtime.
That's awesome. So we are so excited to welcome you as our guest expert in the membership community this month. And I would love if you could give just like a brief preview of what you're going to be covering in your training, because I know it's going to be so valuable to so many VAs.
Yeah, well, going along with the theme of email marketing, I am going to be teaching you how to start your email list, how to build a welcome sequence that converts, and just how to build your list so that you can use it down the line, like we were just talking about, for cross-selling and upselling. So
yes,
I'm excited.
I'm super excited. Yay. Well, thank you so much, Dani. This was everything I imagined it would be and more. You're such a pro. Thank you so much for being here. And briefly, could you tell us where to find you on the web? Like, how can we get in touch with you?
Yep. So you can follow me on Instagram at dani.stratmann. And I also have a website, which is danistratmann.com. So you can just learn a bit more about me there.
Awesome. And how can people work with you?
I have a whole slew of offers. I love
nice.
offer suite, but I have a passive course on email marketing. So if you really want to dive deep into email marketing, I have a full course. I also have some smaller products that fall off of that. So if you're just wanting to start your email list, which we'll talk about in the training, so you might not need that, but I have that portion. And then I also have some done for you launch sequences. So if you are ready to launch something to your email list, you can buy some just plug and play sequences, and it'll take you less than an hour to write your launch sequence. So that's my email marketing services side of the business. And then I also do some marketing coaching. So if you're looking to expand your offer suite or, build a 360-degree marketing strategy for your business, I also coach entrepreneurs on that side. So
that is awesome. You guys make sure to get in touch with Dani. And yeah, I'm so excited for your training.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning into the Support Squad podcast. Make sure to visit the new and improved thesupportsquad.com to check out the show notes for this episode. And if you want to dive deeper into our thriving virtual assistant community, here's what's coming up in the membership this month. Email marketing strategist Dani Stratmann is sharing a training on how to start your email list, build a welcome sequence that converts, and use your list down the line to upsell and cross-sell your passive income products. We'll be kicking off the month with a 5-day email marketing challenge where one member will win a $15 Starbucks gift card. Our bonus goodies this month are a virtual assistant's guide to email marketing and a set of templates to create beautiful branded Instagram highlight covers. And of course, we'll have 2 live coaching calls where we'll deep dive into this month's content, and I'll personally answer questions about all things virtual assistant related. Join us now at thesupportsquad.com. I'll see you in there. Until next time, Boss Babe.